Hi guys, welcome back for episode number 32 of the weekly playback. So I actually did not get to play too many games this past week, but I did get to play a big one, which I'm really excited to talk about, which is Crescent Moon. So this is a game for 4 to 5 players, so which is why I'm excited that I actually got to play it, because this is going to be harder to get to the table because of the player count. So Crescent Moon is a 2022 game, and this is coming out sometime this summer. I'm not sure exactly when. I think May, maybe June. I'm not positive yet. It is for 4 to 5 players, designed by Stephen Mathers, and the art is by Naveed Rahman, and this is published by Osprey Games. So I'm super excited that I was able to play this. Now, when you play this at 4 players, the character that you do not use in the game is the Nomad. So this is a highly asymmetrical area control game. I would describe it a little bit as a war game, though I'm not sure exactly what qualifies as a war game, but you do have contests in this, you do have combats in this, and influence contests. So I don't know if that can also classify it as a war game, but it's definitely an area control game. So you have different factions in this game. So let me just pull out the different player sheets. So you are going to be sitting around the table in a certain order. So when you play this game, the first person to take their turn in every single round is going to be the warlord. So they will be sitting first, going clockwise. Then after the warlord, you are going to have the murshid. Then after the murshid, you are going to have the sultan. Then after the sultan, you are going to have the khalifa, which in English is called caliph. And then after that, if you have a 5-player game, that's when you will have the nomad. So you are all going to sit in order of your turn order and take your turns in the same order every single round. So the game can be played in a 3-year game or a 4-year game. So you can have a shorter game, which is 3 years, or a longer game, which is 4 years. And in every round, each player will have 4 turns. So you will go around and around until every player has taken their 4 turns. And you do have this round tracker that helps you keep track. So you will have this, which will keep track of your years, and then you'll have a marker here which will keep track of the different phases of the game. So you're going to have your preparation phase, which is what you start in the beginning of each round. You'll do your income, reserves, which applies to only like 2 of the characters players, and then you'll have the 4 actions that you are going to take, and then your scoring phase at the end of each round. So in this game, you will have a market. There is going to be the Sultan's market. Now the Sultan's market is going to have cards which the Sultan can get for free because he has control of this market. If anyone else wants to buy cards from this market, they need to basically arrange that with the Sultan. So you need to discuss with the Sultan how much you are willing to pay for a card, and if he agrees, great. If not, then too bad. But the rest of the market, you have the this was supposed to go in order. So you have the near market, then the middle market, and then the far market. And the near one is cheaper in cost, then the middle ones will be 4 coins, and then the ones at the end will be 6 coins. So the different types of cards you are buying are different kinds of action cards that you can use throughout the game. And I'm going to go over the different players and their different kinds of unique abilities in this game, but I just want to go over the different types of cards because they are relevant. So let me just get some of these basic cards out of the way. So you have different kinds of cards which you can play during either combat or during the influence contest, or some of them could be like an anytime card. So you can play as one of your actions during the regular, part of the game. So if there is a card in the market that has your own symbol on it, so like for example, I was the Murshid, so I could buy any card that had the Murshid symbol on it for half of the cost. And when you are buying cards, if that's the action that you are taking on your turn, you can buy 1 card from each market. So you can buy 1 card from the near market, 1 card from the middle market, and then 1 card from the far market. And if you are buying a card that has your own symbol on it, then you pay half the cost. If someone else buys a card with your symbol on it, they give you the full amount of money. So it doesn't go to the bank, it goes to the player who is associated with that symbol. So like some cards will have a warlord symbol on them. The vast majority of cards have the Murshid symbol on them. So, you know, the Murshid can basically earn quite a bit that way. There's a couple of nomad cards, not too many. So yeah, like I said, and a couple of Khalifa cards, again, not too many. The vast majority of cards are Murshid cards, and there are no Sultan cards because the Sultan is already very powerful, and he doesn't really need any cards, I guess. So, and the Warlord starts with this one card, which they have at the beginning of the game. This is not a card that they acquire from the market, but this is a card that is very useful to the Warlord, of course. And the Warlord and Khalifa each have a, and the Nomad, but we didn't play with the Nomad, will each have a reserves card, which I'll get to in a bit and explain what that means. So again, the game can be played as a short game, 3 years, or as a long game, 4 years, and each player has unique abilities, and each player is going to score differently. So you are going to, in the second page of each guidebook, find a section which says objectives. And in your objectives, you are going to see how basically you score at the end of the game. So let's start with the Warlord. So the Warlord, for example, so everyone has a year 1 objective, and the year 1 objective only applies in year 1. However, you can apply the primary and secondary objectives in year 1, but then after that, going forward in the subsequent years, you only look at the primary and secondary objectives, not the year 1 objectives. So I'm guessing that the year 1 objective is supposed to be the easier objective for you to try and meet. I did not meet my year 1 objective. My year 1 objective as the Murshid was to have an influence token in a hex containing another player's settlement or stronghold, and I did not manage to achieve that. But I did achieve some of my primary objectives during the first year of the game. So let's start with the Warlord. So the Warlord, his year 1 objective is to have at least 4 units on the map. So I'm just going over these to just kind of show you the differences in, you know, how each player is going to score. The Murshid year 1 objective is to have an influence token in a hex containing another player's settlement or stronghold. And then we go to the Sultan. The Sultan's year 1 objective is to have at least 5 of your settlements or strongholds on the map in any combination. If I can remember correctly, the Sultan, I think everyone actually completed their year 1 objective except for me. And then the Khalifa is have at least 4 castles or influence tokens on the map in any combination. And then the Nomad, which we did not play with because we only had a 4-player game, was to have 2 coins, or you will gain at least 2 coins during the next income phase. So everyone's year 1 objective is worth 4 victory points. Victory points are in these Crescent Moon shapes. When you get victory points at the scoring phase, you are going to collect your victory points, and they have all kinds of different numbers on them, like 1, 3, 10, 5s, whatever. And then you announce how many victory points you are collecting, but then you turn them upside down so that they are hidden for the remainder of the game from other players. The Murshid has a special ability where they can kind of agree or decide to assist other players during combats or influence contests, and they can even try to make agreements based on victory points, saying up to 5 victory points. They can say, I will help you in a certain contest if you give me X amount of victory points, and then the other player can choose whether or not they want the Murshid's help. And if they agree, the Murshid can even, of course, lie, and but then the other player is still stuck having to give up those victory points. And I did do that at one point during the game, so that was awesome. Okay, so then I just want to go over the primary objectives again for each one, because again, they are vastly different, just so you guys can get an idea. So I'll go over primary and secondary. So the primary objectives for the Warlord are to win a combat, and they will get 1 victory point per enemy unit removed during the casualty step, but not during the retreat step. They can sack a stronghold or settlement. They will get 4 victory points for a city, 3 victory points for a castle, 2 victory points for a town, 1 victory point for a fort, and 1 victory point for the Caliph's palace. Their secondary objectives are to have a castle and an influence token on the same hex, which will grant them 3 victory points. Control the hex with the holy site. There is 1 tile which has a holy site, and a lot of players are going after that, so he will get 4 victory points for that. Control a contiguous group of at least 4 hexes, 1 victory point per contiguous hex. So that is the Warlord. And each player has some special unique abilities, which are unique only to them, which I can go over in a bit. The Murshid, the primary objectives for the Murshid is for each of your influence tokens on the map, you will get 2 victory points if on the same hex as a city, 1 victory point if on the same hex as a town, 1 victory point if on a fertile hex without town or city, and 1 victory point if on the same hex as your stronghold and quarry or mountain hex. Their secondary objectives are to control the hex with the holy site, 5 victory points, have an influence token on the hex with the holy site, 2 victory points, have at least 2 of your strongholds on the map, 1 victory point per stronghold. And just to show you what strongholds are, so strongholds are the forts or the castles that you are putting down. So the forts are the smaller ones, and you can upgrade them to, I believe they're called castles, if I remember correctly. The Sultan, their primary objective is for every city on the map, they will get 1 victory point, 1 additional victory point if no other player controls the hex, 1 additional victory point if no other player has an influence token in the hex. Their secondary objectives are to have at least 4 influence tokens on the map, and they will get 1 victory point per influence token, control the hex with the holy site, 4 victory points, control at least 3 hexes, 1 victory point per hex you control. The Khalifa, Caliph, for each hex they control as their primary objective, they will get 1 victory point, 1 additional victory point if the same hex as a city, and 1 additional victory point if same hex as your castle and influence token. Secondary objectives: control at least 4 hexes and more hexes than any other players, 1 victory point per hex you control, control the hex with the holy site, 4 victory points, control 2 quarries and the river crossing, 5 victory points, control either A, 2 quarries, or B, 1 quarry and the river crossing, 2 victory points. And then finally, the Nomad. So they have a primary objective, which during the scoring phase, they may spend any number of coins to earn victory points. So then there's a chart showing how many coins they need to spend and how many victory points they'll get, which is pretty cool. I kind of wish we had played with a 5th player to see how that works. And then their secondary objective is have influence tokens in at least 4 hexes not controlled by another player, 1 victory point per hex, control the hex with the holy site, 2 victory points, have presence in a contiguous group of hexes that contain 2 or more cities, 1 victory point per city in that contiguous group. So again, each player has different powers, and so at the beginning of the game, you are going to place down a map. And so we started with the beginning player's map setup. So the rule book shows you some different setups, and we used this map setup, which is for 4 players, and it's called Divided Land. And this also shows you some of the starting tokens that you need to place on the board that the game will begin with. So again, there's a bunch of different configurations, and I'm sure as you become more advanced, you can play the more advanced configurations. And so yeah, it shows you the starting pieces, what you'll be starting with on the map. And so there are different types of hexes, and as I discussed, different, each player has different objectives. Like if you have a certain thing on a certain kind of tile, you might get something. So this is the holy site, by the way, which is a desert, but also the holy site. And you've got quarries, you've got mountains and fertile land. Yeah. So the different kinds of abilities that each player has. So for example, the Warlord, they don't have a build action. So each player's player guide is going to show you the actions which are available to you, and then the special unique attributes that apply to you. So for example, the Warlord can have an uprising occur, where I believe, other players can't do that. So like, for example, my special action as the Murshid was I could look through the draw deck and pick a card, and that was called, I believe, Plot. So I could look at the top 7 cards of the action deck and take 1 Murshid card, and if I had no cards in hand, I could take 2 Murshid cards instead, and then I would shuffle the remaining cards and put them back. So that was like my special action. I also had some special abilities to interfere and meddle when combat would occur, or influence contests, or create a deal with someone where at the start of an influence contest or a combat that occurs in which I have an influence token, I could offer up, support for the other player's victory points. So it's a very highly asymmetrical game with different kinds of powers that players have, which I think is really cool. I cannot imagine the amount of playtesting that must have gone into this game to ensure that it is balanced despite the highly asymmetric nature of this game. It just really blows my mind, because you know, I can't imagine how much playtesting must have gone into this, because we found it to be pretty balanced. Like at the end of the game, the scores were pretty close. If I remember correctly, I came in 3rd place. I actually did make a note of the score, so let me just find those quickly, just so in case anyone is interested. I don't remember where I need to. Okay, let me just go to my Twitter account. That might be faster. So I think the highest score was 40 something, and then I think I ended with 40 something as well. Let's just quickly find that. Here we go. All right, so in our game that we played, the Sultan won with 45 points, the Khalifa had 43 points, I had 36 points as the Murshid, and then the Warlord had 28 points. A few things that are worth noting. All of us, except for the Warlord, had read the rules before coming to play the game, so that might have had an influence. So, you know, on how we played, I think the Warlord was not aware that I could meddle and interfere in combats and influence contests, so that did hurt him at one point during the game when I ended up interfering. So yeah, so you know, the other 2 players, they didn't have, of course, the physical rule book, but they had found the rules online and were able to familiarize themselves with the rules before we played. But yeah, so you know, all the actions which are, you know, basic to everyone are influence. So this is where you can choose a hex where you have presence, or that is adjacent to where you have presence, and then you can place an influence token there. And if someone else has presence, then you place the challenge token there and you engage in an influence contest. So there are these tokens which are, so we have this challenge token, and so if you want influence on a hex where someone else already has influence, then you need to engage in an influence contest. And that's where you use certain cards such as these, such as Compel or Assassinate, which then have abilities on the bottom which will allow you to gain influence or discard another person's card that they are playing in this influence contest. Then you're just basically, you know, going to count up things that you have on the tile to see who has more influence so that you can place down an influence token. So in each game, each player has these influence tokens, and then they also have these mercenaries. Now, each player has a different amount, you know, some of them have the same amounts. I, as the Murshid, I believe, had the least amount of mercenaries, and of course the Warlord had a lot. But the Warlord and the Khalifa had the special ability with their reserves card, where they could send out basically troops that were not mercenaries. They were just, I can't remember what they're called then, ordinary units. So they could send out ordinary units, so they would place it face down so that the camel would not be showing, and that would be an ordinary unit. And so they had this ability where they could send out a lot of these ordinary units without, you know, having to pay money. So they could basically do it for free, because when you are doing the recruit action to put out mercenaries, you basically have to pay a cost. So I, as the Murshid, would have to pay either 1 coin, no, sorry, is it 2 coins? I would have to pay 2 coins to the general supply for 1 mercenary unit, or 6 coins for 2 mercenary units. So as the Murshid, it was really difficult for me to get those out there because, you know, they're costly. So yeah, I really like the highly asymmetrical nature of this game. And again, I just want to show some components. So you have the small forts, which you could then upgrade. So, you know, you have the build action. So again, not everyone has the build action, like the Warlord does not have this. So I could build up to 2 strongholds, each in a different hex. So for a fort, it would cost me 2 coins, and then a castle, I would replace a fort with a castle for 4 coins. The Sultan could build also towns and cities. So in addition to their fort and castle, they could build a town in any hex without a town or a city for 1 coin, and then a city in any hex without a town. With the town, sorry. So they could upgrade a town to a city for 4 coins in any hex with a town. So yeah, so just a bunch of different actions for different players. Like for example, the Sultan could bribe mercenaries, but only in a 5-player game. Let's just look at the, oh sorry, that was the Khalif, my bad. So that was the Khalifa who, oh no, they both can do that. So both the Khalifa and Sultan can bribe mercenaries in a 5-player game. Let's see, you know, assault. So when you want to engage in combat, I believe everyone has the assault action. If I can just take a quick look, except for the Nomad, it appears. Oh no, the Nomad has the assault action as well. So yeah, so everyone has the assault action. So, you know, you would move any number of your units, your mercenaries, into an adjacent hex where another player has control, and then you start a combat. And then, you know, you play your cards that you want to play, and then you would end up removing mercenaries after you count up the total number of units. And then there's a way to calculate how many mercenaries get removed. I believe it was like half of the other player's amount, something like that. So yeah, so really cool game. We really enjoyed it. It's a game that we decided we would definitely want to play again, and I would definitely like to play it again. So I hope that this, you know, provided a good first look at the game if you are interested, you know, in it. So, you know, I feel like if you enjoy games like Root, then this is a game that you would enjoy. And I love, of course, that it takes place in the Middle East. You know, now there's an asymmetrical game, area control game that takes place in the Middle East. And I would really, you know, I'd be cool with learning the other characters. I chose Mershade because that day I was actually wearing the same exact shade of pink. And I had a drink that was exactly this color. Oh, actually, I have it right now, too. My dragon drink from Starbucks. And yeah, and I was also eating raspberries, so I just felt very committed to playing the Mershade because of color coordination. But I would actually really be interested in playing the Sultan as well at some point. I just want to play the different characters, and just, you know, because they all have different scoring objectives and different ways in which, you know, they get points and different powerful abilities, which I think would be fun to check out. I think I've shown everything that I want to show about this game. I will be doing a 1-minute overview video of it. So in case, you know, someone just wants a really quick explanation of this game, I hope I will be able to provide that in 1 minute. So yeah, if you have any questions at all about this game, please do leave them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them. My 1-minute video will not be released until May because Osprey does want to focus on cryptid urban legends before they start getting a lot of content released about this game. So you will have to wait a little bit for my 1-minute video on this game. But yeah, I think I basically went over the gist of the game. Let me just see if there's anything else I want to talk about before I go on. So let's see, I did the setup. Oh, and when you start the game, so at the beginning you do go through the income, and you go through the reserves action for the players who have that, but you skip upkeep when you start the game. So in year 1 you are going to skip upkeep. Yeah, and then you have your actions phase, and people can take different actions. You know, so again, I'll just go over some of the basic actions. You can influence, you can build. Of course, not everyone can build. You can move. So this rulebook actually shows you all the different symbols of who can take each action. You can move mercenaries, you can assault, you can recruit, bribe mercenaries in a 5-player game, hire mercenaries in a 4-player game, hire mercenaries in a 5-player game, buy power cards, play power card, and then collect, and unique actions, of course, to different players. So for the Warlord, they have Uprising and Mass. I had, as the Murshid, the plot action. The Khalifa has the Conspire. Oh no, sorry, that is the Sultan. The Sultan has the Conspire action, and the Khalifa has the Move Palace action, and then the Nomad has a Desert action. which is pretty cool. So yeah, so a really fun game. I really liked it. It's so just to talk about player the time length of the game. So in a 4-player game, including setup and rules explanation and playing a full 4-year game, it took us 4.5 hours total, just to give you an idea. But I do think it will go quicker on subsequent plays, especially if you are playing with players who have played before. I do believe it'll be much quicker. So that was Crescent Moon. And just to briefly mention again, I have a copy of this to give away, a brand new copy. So if you are a herd member, if you have a Ko-fi membership with me and you are an Emerald Elephant or above, then you have the opportunity to win a brand new copy of this game, which is in shrink wrap. So yeah, so I will be talking a bit more in this video about the giveaways, because I've been thinking a little bit more about those giveaways and thinking about how to make it more fair for all of those who are subscribed to me at Emerald level and above. So I will be discussing the giveaway again a little bit more in this video. So if you stay tuned for that, you can learn a bit more about that. So now I will go on to the next game I played. The next game I played was, I don't have it with me because I actually just gave it away to my friend, is Kingswood. So Kingswood is a 2020 game for 1 to 5 players, designed by Henry Audubon. He is the designer of Parks. The art is done by Tristan Rosim, and it's published by 25th Century Games. This is a set collection and worker placement rondel game. So in this game, I gave it away because I played it with my friend who is around the same age as me, his 7-year-old son, and then my friend's father. So, we had like 3 different generations of this, of playing this game. So we played a 4-player game. I would say, we had the basic setup because we were playing with a 7-year-old. So we used the basic tiles, and then of course you get to select one of the other tiles that you want. So basically you are going to have different tiles, different locations, and each player is playing a different character, and you are just basically trying to collect different resources to then defeat certain monsters, and those monsters might give you certain extra points at the end of the game. If you can then, there's 2 different ages in the game. There's age 1 and age 2. So you need hearts, swords, and books, I believe, were the 3 different kinds of resources you need to defeat different kinds of monsters and get points. So you can go to different locations to acquire these resources. So you basically have like this one, I think it was the king. You move around, so the active player gets to pick up the king and then place it in a location where there is a king's guard. So there are 3 king's guards on the map. So you have a circle, so the locations are all in a circle like a rondel. So you place the king in the location that you want to go at, or you can just take him off the board and then collect 2 coins. So if you place him in a location where there is a king's guard, then you can take the action on that space, and then as well you can move the king's guard 1 space, in either direction, and then take an action that is on that location that you move him to. For an extra coin, you can move him an additional space. So I didn't find the actions to be very interesting. It was just, I think a kid would really enjoy this game, and the kid that we played with really did enjoy this game, which is why I just let him keep it. So, you can, it just didn't feel like that there was a lot of interesting decisions for, someone who is more used to playing more complicated games. I think, you can go to different locations. You can, so once you acquire a resource and you spend that resource, you don't lose it. You flip it over because it's like depleted. So you need to, replenish that resource. So you can go to a certain location to replenish it, basically turn it back up to its active side. And if you have more than one of those, then, some locations will say turn all of your hearts active again or whatever. So I just didn't find the actions to be very interesting. The game ends once someone hits 20 points, and then each other player gets 1 more turn. And then again, your monsters might give you additional points. I did get lucky because I had defeated a number of ghosts, and I just needed to defeat 1 wraith, because for every ghost I defeated, the wraith would give me extra points at game end. And so that's how I was able to win at the end of the game. Actually, me and another player, my friend's father, had tied, and then the tiebreaker was coins, and I ended up having more coins. So actually we tied, and then I won with the tiebreaker. But yeah, I think it's if you have youngsters that you are trying to introduce to board games, I think that this is a fantastic game to introduce new gamers to. And they don't have to be youngsters, like even, you know, older players who maybe do not typically play your Euro games like worker placements. This would be a very good introductory level game to introduce someone to. You know, for example, my older sister who, you know, doesn't play worker placement games and things like that, if I wanted to introduce her to the concept of worker placement games or like a rondelle, I think I would introduce her to this game and see, you know, just to try to, you know, bring her into the hobby. So I think it's great for that. It's got super cute artwork. I really like the artwork. Yeah, and it's got a fun theme. So, you know, if that sounds like your kind of thing, you should check it out. You know, hopefully I'll have put up a picture or two. I don't think I took too many photos, but I think I might have one picture actually. So, but yeah, so that was the other game I played. And then actually I will discuss something else that I've been playing a lot of. So like I said, I didn't get in too much gaming in this past week, and I was really sad about that. So what I have been doing is playing a lot of games of Railroad Inc. on my iPad. So I'll just show it to you. Oh, let me just show you my wallpaper because I really love it. So this is a mosque in Iran, which is really beautiful. I've actually visited it when I went to Iran. It's a really beautiful mosque. But let me just show you Railroad Inc. on my iPad. So I've been playing so many games of it, and oh, here, let me just go back to the main page. So like there's daily challenges, it has a score attack. I'm not sure if the score attack is like the same game for each player, because you can do like multiple score attacks in a day. So I think that just changes up, but you can see like the standings, the daily standings of how people have scored. And I did download the forest and desert expansions. I really like the forest one. I am not so good at the desert one, but I really like them. They're so pretty. Like when you finish playing or when you do a move, it converts like the trees into like really pretty trees, or like the desert into really pretty cacti. And then at the end, when you're done playing, it just like looks like a really pretty town, and I really, really like it. You know, I'm usually someone who really prefers playing board games in person with the actual physical board game, because the tactile nature of board games is so important to me, like handling the pieces and, you know, touching them and smelling them, the beautiful, you know, the cards that smell so nice, you know, and all the beautiful components. Like I absolutely love that about board games. And of course I love sitting around with people and joking around with them and, you know, poking fun at them when we're playing. So you don't get that when you play with an app, but I have played like at least 6 or 7 games of Railroad Inc. on my iPad, and you know, I find it a bit addictive now. So I really like it. So, you know, I think it's a good alternative for when I want to play a game and I have no one to play with. So, and you know, my iPad screen, I like it because it's large, so it's just fun to play. So I've been doing that lately, so I thought I would share that with you guys. I actually do have the physical copy of Railroad Inc., both the desert and forest one. I don't have the red one or the blue one, so I have the green and yellow ones in their physical copies. So let's move on. So let's talk about, where are we? Okay, let's talk about games that I am backing. So I'm still backing ROVE. Nothing has changed. I haven't backed anything new. So still ROVE, Envelopes of Cash, which I will hopefully be covering soon, and then Feralis Obscure Land. So let's go on to games that I have received, because I'm super excited to show you the first one, which is Wayfarers of the South Tigris. So this actually arrived last Friday, but after I had already shot my weekly playback video. So, but I mean, good thing, because I had so many games to get through last week. But I'm super excited to be covering this. So this is coming to Kickstarter later this month. I believe the announced Kickstarter date is April 26th, if I remember correctly. At least that's what I saw someone else had announced. So this is the new trilogy that Shem Phillips is, you know, designing. So this is already designed, of course. This is a pre-production copy, really nice, by the way. So this is designed by Shem Phillips and S.J. MacDonald. It is Wayfarers of the South Tigris, so the first in the series, which will be, of course, a trilogy, and then it's by Garfield Games. So again, this is a pre-production copy, so it was really nice. It was in shrink wrap, comes with a, you know, a rule book, just like a production copy would, with these really pretty boards. I actually will read the description from the rule book. Oh, I love this. Sorry. I love like these domes, like these mosque domes. Really, really love that. And by the way, all of these boards are double-sided. And then it comes with these really nice cards, which again were also in their like, you know, wrapper. So everything was as though it was a production copy, like everything had to be unwrapped and punched. So yeah, let me just stick that back in. So again, the artwork as usual is done by the Micho. Oh, is it? No, it's not the Micho, is it? No, it's not the Micho. It's, sorry. Let me just check who does the artwork, because I don't want to get that wrong. Wayfarers. Oh, it is the Micho. Okay, for some reason I thought it was someone different, but I think maybe the other person I was thinking of does the graphic design. Maybe that's why I was confused for a second, but yeah, it is the Micho. Maybe I was thinking of the graphic artist or something. Or I might have been thinking of his other game, because I know that there is an artist who was different than the Micho on one of his games, and I cannot remember. And here are some other cards. I don't know if these are upside down. They might be upside down. Yeah, I just love these planetary cards. Oh, they're so beautiful. Just look at the back of that. I just absolutely love it. As someone who loves astronomy, I'm super excited about this game. I just want to read you a description. So let me just read you the description from the book. So, this game, Wayfarers of the South Tigris is set during the height of the Abbasid Caliphate, circa 820 AD. As brave explorers, cartographers, and astronomers, players set off from Baghdad to map the surrounding land, waterways, and heavens above. Players must carefully manage their caravan of workers and equipment while reporting back regularly to journal their findings at the House of Wisdom. Will you succeed in impressing the Caliph? Actually, in Arabic it's Khalifa, in English it's Caliph. So I've actually been doing some kind of completely wrong pronunciation where I've been combining the two. So it's actually Khalifa. Or lose your way and succumb to the wilderness. So you're obviously just trying to get the most victory points, and they are primarily gained by mapping the land, water, and sky. Players also gain points from upgrading their caravans, by gaining inspiration, and by influencing the three guilds of science, trade, and exploration. As they make discoveries, players will want to quickly journal their progress. The game end is triggered once a player has reached the far right column of the journal track. Really cool. It comes with these cool little tiles. And so again, I'm actually playing this game tonight, so I'm excited to play it tonight and talk about my experience. But the insert, so again, it's like a pre-production copy, so it comes with, you know, an insert for all the tiles, and then I put the coins in bags just because I don't like things being shuffled around. And an insert, so I guess I'm letting the insert actually go to waste. But so I'll just show you the purple player pieces. So it's a dice placement game. So each player has their own colored dice and their own little thingies, whatever those are. And then each player has three workers, the yellow, green, and blue. So yeah, so the different player colors are purple, which is definitely what I'll be playing as, because I'm always purple, unless me and my friend are fighting over purple, because I have a friend who also always wants to be purple. And then there's red. There's this pretty light blue color, which I really, really like. So if I can't be purple, then I'll want to be this one. And then there is this mustard yellow color, which is also really nice. So yeah, I really like the colors. I think all the components are super nice. Because again, pre-production copy. It comes with these like little jars of some kind. So let me just show these to you. So yeah. Again, super nice. So, you know, if Shem lets me keep this copy, if no one else needs it, I'll probably play it a couple of times because I have a feeling I'm really going to like this one. But then I will probably be giving this one away as well to one of my Ko-fi herd members, if Shem, again, lets me do that, if I'm able to keep this copy. So we shall see. But yeah, I'm super excited to play this. Let me just show you the two sides of the player boards. So yeah, really exciting. So I was super happy to receive this, and I really cannot wait to play this tonight. The other game that I received, actually, I will Yet again, Osprey accidentally sent me another copy of Cryptid Urban Legends, so they accidentally sent me 2 copies of Crescent Moon, which is why they agreed to let me give one away. So I will also be giving this one away to a herd member. But again, I'll discuss the giveaways in a little bit because I have some more thoughts on those. So now I will talk about the other game that I received, which is a game that I had covered for its Kickstarter, and that is Veiled Fate. So mine's a little dented, but that's okay because I don't ever plan on selling this, so it doesn't matter if it's a little bit dented or dinged in the corner, and it's not a nice perfect little corner, but that's okay because I'm planning on keeping this forever because I really loved it. So this is the box of the deluxe edition. So this is a game kind of like a social deduction, kind of like, if I remember correctly, area control game. So let me just get up here because there's a lot of stuff here. So this is the rule book. So this is from IV Studios, of course, and you know, their production quality is top notch. So I got the metal miniatures, and one of them kind of pops out, but I'll pull him out anyway. So I need to glue him back into his base because he has popped out of his base. But let me just show you the different. So there's all these different miniatures, and then they have their like influence trackers. So these are the metal ones, which I think are super duper nice. Like I really love them. And then I of course got the sleeves because I'm a sleever. So here are like the different demigods that you will be playing as. And then here are all the different quest cards. There are different city cards, which are actually going to be a little bit hard to get out, I feel like. Let's see if I can get some out. So maybe I'll link my 1-minute overview video down below. I cannot remember if at that point when I did that 1-minute overview video whether I had already started my new format where I have the board out in front of me, because when I first started creating 1-minute overview videos, I would just like hold things up to the camera and show them quickly. But at a certain point, I did decide to just start having the board in front of me and pointing to stuff, which was, you know, much better. It does require a bit more setup on my part and, you know, working with my very small table, so it can be difficult for me, but I think it's better to show people exactly, you know, how the game is played, and just more of these fate cards. They're all the same. Okay. Well, that's the problem with sleeving. So yeah, so this is Veiled Fate, which I really enjoyed my play of. I remember when I played this game, I think we did a 4 or a 5 player game of it when I played with the prototype version, the pre-production version of it. Is there anything? Oh yeah, the board. I should show you the board. So the board is huge, so it's going to be this main circle part, and then there's like a bunch of these that will fit into here and go around it. So there's that, and then of course, if you didn't get the metal upgrades, that comes with the regular cardboard one as well. And I think I can't remember if plastic was an option or not. That I don't remember. And this really cool Fate coin, which is really beautiful. So that is that. So I hope, you know, I can convince some friends to play this with me, because I would really like to play this again. I guess I'll take care of that. All right, so let me just start talking about giveaways. So far, I think I have 4 or 5 subscribers at Emerald and above. So anyone who is subscribed to Emerald and above can enter giveaways. Now I want to make them as fair as possible, so I've been thinking about how to do that. So I've decided that, sorry, let me just pick these up so I can put this away while I talk. These. All right, so I think the best way would be still to, you know, I'll be doing still bi-monthly giveaways, so every 2 months. And then I want everyone who subscribes to my Ko-fi at Emerald and above to have a chance to win something, because it's not fair if one person just randomly keeps on getting selected and the others do not, right? So I want people to feel like, you know, you're supporting me and my content, and so I want to give back, but at the same time I want it to be fair and not make it feel like someone has, you know, gotten more lucky than someone else, because I know that kind of sucks. Like if you see someone who keeps on winning, oh gosh, these keep falling all over the place. That's a problem with sleeves, they're so slippery. So if it feels like someone else just keeps on winning, you know, it's a crappy feeling, and I wouldn't want people people who support me to feel like that, and I hope you guys will feel the same way. So I think if someone has entered into a contest for a game that they really want to win, but they didn't win that one, then, you know, I think that the next contest they will not have a chance to win until everyone has won at least something. So I would ask you to only enter the contests for the game, for a game that you actually think you would really like in your collection. So that way you are content once you win something. And for the smaller ones, I'm going to, you know, like, so for example, Crescent Moon is a big game. It's an expensive game. And you're, you know, whoever wins this is going to be getting a brand new copy of it. So for the next giveaway, let's suppose I do a small box game, I will, you know, include a couple of small boxes together. So that way it equals like the value of a bigger box game. So that way no one feels like they've missed out. So, you know, so I hope that, you know, that is okay with everyone. Please feel free to give me your feedback below. I just want everyone to feel like that they are, you know, getting an equal shot at winning something. So I want everyone to win something. So if you win the first giveaway, I would ask you to refrain from entering the next few giveaways based on the number of subscribers I have, and I will keep you guys updated on the numbers. So again, right now, and not everyone might enter, you know, so like, you know, it may be the case where some people just want to support me and not really enter the giveaway, so who knows. But I do still plan on having the video that I will give a link to my Emerald and above members, and so then they can leave a comment in the video below that they want to enter that specific giveaway. So that will also give you an idea of who else is entering that giveaway and what your chances are. So right now I only have, like I said, 5 members who are Emerald and above, so your chances are really good. It's like 1 out of 5 if all 5 people enter a giveaway, right? So that's the way I would like to do it, just so everyone feels like they have a good shot. Just, you know, please let me know what your thoughts are about that. I just want everyone a chance to give everyone a chance to win something. So please tell me what you feel about that, and I hope I will be able to address any concerns. I just want to make things as fair as possible and just, you know, make everyone happy. so let me know what you think about that, okay? And, you know, if you ever have any concerns, I am always an open book, and I'm always open to hearing suggestions from people. So, you know, or complaints. So if you are a Ko-fi Herd member and, you know, if something upsets you or you think something was not done fairly, you know, feel free to like leave a comment below for everyone to see in the giveaway video so we can maybe all talk about it together. Someone had asked me if I can start a Discord channel for my subscribers, so I will, you know, that's something I'm very much considering, so that way we can also have these discussions in the Discord channel. You know, so, you know, just a place for Ko-fi Herd members to talk about these things. If, you know, anyone has any ideas or suggestions, I'm always open to them. So that's what I'm thinking right now. So I'm thinking, you know, I want to make things as fair as possible, so I'm thinking, you know, I want to give everyone a chance to win something before you can then enter a giveaway again. You know, there may be an instance where I end up giving away a game again, you know, that you really, really want. So like you entered a giveaway for Crescent Moon, but then you see I'm giving away Wayfarers if I'm able to. And that's a game you really want to enter the giveaway for because, you know, the production copy may not come out for some time. You know, so I would like to hear your thoughts on this. So please, you know, tell me what you would like to see done, and hopefully we can make everyone happy or as close to content as possible. So, you know, there's a difference between happiness and content. I think everyone tries to aim for happiness all the time, but sorry, I don't mean to be all philosophical, but it's something that I've discussed a lot with my therapist, because I do go to therapy. I think it's very healthy to go to therapy and just talk about things with someone. I really like it. So, you know, talking about happiness versus contentment. So I think we as humans keep on thinking that we need to be happy all the time, but happiness is something that you should not be experiencing all the time. It's contentment that we should really be aiming for. And happiness is those, like, you know, fewer special, really like happy moments that, you know, make you smile from ear to ear, and, you know, you smile or laugh so much that it hurts. You know, no one's going to be in that state all the time, right? So I want to say that I want to make everyone as content as possible with my Ko-fi Herd membership levels. So please do leave your comments below, and I would love to have a discussion with you about it, you know, get your feedback. So I think I will leave you guys with a question, which I probably should have prepared ahead of time. So let me think of a question to ask you guys, because I actually did not come up with one ahead of time this time. So yeah, why don't I just ask you about you guys, what you guys are backing, because I know there's a ton of games on Kickstarter right now, and I'm not backing them because, you know, money. So let me know what you're backing and what you're most looking forward to receiving, and which Kickstarter of yours that you have backed that is on its way next. I think the one that I am expected to next receive, I think, so I actually did end up backing Paint the Roses, so I just got my address verification for that today. I think Adventures in Neverland might finally ship soon, I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. So yeah, I guess that's it. Let me know what you guys are playing these days and what you're backing, and until next time, bye!